Happy Friday, folks. Welcome in to the Natty State Six-Pack. Curtis Wilkerson, Andrew Ellis here with you live today with this goal of pumping up the vibes a little bit going into your weekend. So join us, will you? We talk about a little bit of everything here, sports and entertainment world. Hop in the chat, share your opinions. If there's anything weird, interesting, some stories out there that you want to hear us weigh in on, throw them our way. Andrew, brother, it was a late night for you last night. How you doing, man?
It was a late night last night for me. It was a productive night. I enjoyed my time last night, and it's crazy. Curtis is like, I'm not going to go on a whole baseball rant right off the top here, but I will say that anyone who watched the game last night probably needs this program, needs a little bit of something to take the edge off of while you're not working today after staying up till 12:30 last night. But no, it is just like last night was one of those examples where we live on the internet, you and I. So we kind of know we have our pulse on what's going on, what Arkansas fans are feeling. But every now and then, whether it's during something or you unplug for a little bit. And while I was watching the game, I was monitoring our Discord game thread and seeing some overreactions there. But I was watching the game and kind of just was like enjoying it. And I was like, man, this is just two really good teams going down to the wire. Like, man, this kind of feels like an Omaha game. Like, it's good. And obviously, Arkansas came up short in the game. But really, Curtis, I kid you not. I was like, I was walking to this very room to do the press conference at DVH, and I was like, man, like that game kind of made me feel better about Arkansas in a weird way because it was like, they shut down a really good A&M lineup, and like, look, we knew this offense sucked already. Like, oh, you know what? Like, that was actually kind of fun. Like, it kind of made me feel better. Like, it was kind of good to see Arkansas get that experience. And then I just checked the internet, and the reaction was not that.
Yeah,
I was so stunned by how many people were like, "This is BS." David Horn, blah, 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 blah. I was like,
get that Thompson idiot out of here.
We're doing it again, man. Damn. But, it can never be easy. It can never be fun. But we will have fun on this program. And I like you, Curtis. I'm kind of going crazy in my own house.
Yes. I am. I'm getting a little bit stir. Well, not a little bit, a lot of bit stir crazy here. Sounds like hopefully that'll be rectified next week, and I'm looking forward to that. But it's cool. We do what we got to do here. Man, like, okay, we were kind of bouncing some text back and forth on what all we should talk about, and we had a pretty good idea, for a rundown, and then all of a sudden the college football 25 trailer drops, and I was like, yeah, that's got to move to the top there. Very cool, man. I mean, it was only 2 minutes long, but I think it convinced me to go ahead and make the purchase. I don't know. What'd you think about it? Did you like it?
I loved it, and I will say this is maybe the first time in the history of Natty State sports or the history of this program where something timing-wise worked out well. Because like you said, we were right in that mix of like finalizing what was going to be on those little bullet points there, and then this dropped, and we were kind of like looking for one more thing. We needed one more like solidified thing. We were worried we were going to have to throw Kelsey Plume up there. Thank God we didn't have to do that, but
she might be a flurry topic. We'll see.
Yeah, she's a flurry type deal, but I love the trailer, man. Now, obviously, we didn't get to see like real life. I mean, we saw gameplay, but it was like very, they did their best work knowing that it was a 1.5-minute trailer. We didn't get to see like what it would really look like for us if we were playing the game, but that's kind of to be expected with some of these games. But I liked it. I really am looking for it. I don't know when. I feel like I saw a date. I can't wait to when there's like actual gameplay for us to see and observe and kind of react to. And I'm sure people will freak out. We also should mention that our good friend and coworker and quote unquote, I guess, boss, John Neighbors, he's like been squatting on this take for like a year now.
He's the ultimate hater, man.
he's been like, ever since like we've been working at Natty State, anytime we've talked about this game, John's like, no, it's going to suck. No, not gonna be good. It's like, dude, what? Like, because John plays video games more than even me, and like definitely more than you. Like, you would think it'd be right up his alley. And he used to. I remember during COVID, he was streaming the NCAA 14. I was like, man, you should love this. But he's like, I think he's scarred by how bad Madden has been the last 7 years, which is not unfair. But I do think that EA, they felt the moment. I mean, the fact that this game is even happening is a testament to people just, making their thoughts known on the internet. We rioted enough for several enough years to where they finally caved and gave us what we wanted. And it's honestly pretty cool.
Yeah, they got off the BS too. I mean, I love it. Every player gets $600 and a copy of the game, like if they're on it. Great. So you get a little bit of a piece of the pie, get a free copy of the game, which I think
not
is
our training though.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's $69.99 is the retail price for that. So it was cool. Yeah, I like the trailer. I thought the graphics looked good. I thought they did a good job, and maybe they're overselling it on the trailer, but like the atmosphere seemed pretty
That
cool.
was the coolest part. And you see so many. I mean, even Wyoming had like their
Yeah,
thing. Like,
man. Cowboys run around out there. Yeah. And the like the touchdown celebrations and stuff that they were showing some glimpses of those. And I'm like, all right, they might have a little something here. But I was also reading a story about just the game itself, and it looks pretty interesting. I mean, it's going to be a lot of the nostalgia of the old game, with some new twists that you would expect. Like, like dynasty mode is back. You can create a coach, create a team, whatever. Recruiting, high school, and transfer portal. Naturally, that's got to be in there. What I thought was really cool is they've got the road to glory thing back, and it gives you the option at the end of the season to hit the portal if
oh,
you
dude, I'm
want.
portal in 3 years.
I'm
I'm
getting the
staying
hell
for
out. Yeah,
4 years, and I'm portal in 3 of them.
show me the money, man. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So that was cool. And then they have it's a new addition to the game, which obviously has been like over a decade now, but it's called the Road to the College Football Playoff. And so it's like this online format where basically you pick a team or whatever, and you kind of earn your ranking by upsetting tougher opponents. You get votes, and you got to kind of progress and level up to different divisions or whatever. But you basically play your way up into the college football playoff picture based on whether you suck at the game or not. So it's cool, man. I'm looking forward to it for sure, and I think it'll be we've flirted with some of these ideas, right? About like, oh, Natty State outdoors, Natty State food, Natty State gaming. Natty State gaming is going to be the first one that kicks off. Like, there's no doubt about it in my mind. So I'm pumped for it, man.
If nothing else, like just the day it drops, we gotta hammer that sucker cool. I mean, it really will just never get old. I mean, I referenced NCAA 14 game. Me and my buddies, I have a buddy that has a PS3, and like once a year, up until like a couple years ago, we were like firing that sucker up and doing Arkansas versus LSU and doing it like that. That's never going to get old. And now that they have like updated rosters, it's going to be cool. And speaking of updated rosters, Taylor Green
Hey,
represented
yeah,
Arkansas well. I stared at it for like 10 minutes. I really thought, because he looked a little bit more bulky, I was like, that's Xavier Sorry.
I thought the same thing. I was like, really?
I literally was like, they put Xavier Sorry. That's the guy. I was like, maybe just, it's just every team, linebacker. I don't know. Then I was like, oh, I guess that is Taylor Green. And it's interesting, Curtis. This is how much I really paid attention. If you look at Taylor Green's character, he's got the long sleeve and like a little wristband or whatever. It looks about, I mean, like I have to pull up the footage to really see. It looks like that's Taylor, like that's what Taylor Green wears. I remember him at practice always having a sleeve on his left arm.
Yeah.
And that's what he has in this trailer. I wonder if like we're going to get like accurate everything. Like if there's a linebacker with the cowboy collar, he's going to have the cowboy collar in the game. Like that would actually be pretty sweet.
Yeah,
And
sign me up for that.
that's part of just what makes this stuff cool is fans see their favorite player and they're like, oh, now I'm going to wear a sleeve. Now I'm going to go on my game and I'm going to make my road to glory do that or whatever. Like it's just, man, this really just the nostalgia hits. As a child, like this was my favorite thing growing up, really. So I could not be more excited, man. I just got a PS5 for Christmas, so
Yeah, it's big.
been playing
I'm
a lot.
glad you did that because I don't have
Can't
one.
wait to switch it out for some college football 25.
Hell yeah, man! It'll be really really cool.
Actually, I
And
did see someone say, I did see someone say they were like MLB The Show on July 20th, and it's just like a ghost land. Like
yeah,
nobody's gonna be playing MLB The Show this summer once this
no.
game drops. So like MLB The Show, enjoy these next couple months or 2 months.
Yeah. Embrace it while it lasts. I messed with MLB The Show.
It's a really it's I would say it's the best sports game out at this day and age. Like Madden has really fallen off. 2K is just not what it used to be anymore. They've kind of phoned it in on both of those franchises. And I feel like MLB The Show is it's been pretty solid. I do like the UFC games too, but I'm hoping college football, which used to be the best sports game of all time, I'm hoping it reclaims its throne.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. And I mean, I would say this was easily the coolest news that dropped today, but maybe the craziest was what happened a little bit before that in the morning. Pretty eventful for the world's top ranked golfer, Scottie Scheffler. Holy shit, man! I mean, that was wild. And so for those who, I don't know, like haven't seen what happened this morning, the PGA championships are in Louisville, at Valhalla, the country club there. and Scheffler was basically just trying to get into the country club to the course to make his tee time, and there was things were blocked off there because there was an accident this morning that it tragically, it's really sad, it killed a pedestrian. He got hit by a bus or something, but it was crazy. But I guess from the sounds of it, Scheffler was trying to like get in there, and I don't know if he was just confused, if he thought that it was like the just the typical security that you got to kind of work your way through, because those guys have marked cars and like signs or whatever hanging off their dash where they can just kind of go on through. And so it seems like maybe he thought that was going on and didn't realize it was an accident. I don't know, but he tried to drive around a fatality accident and pissed off a cop and wound up dragging him for, a few feet or something as he was trying to get in the car. He gets yanked out. He gets arrested and cuffed. But dude, did you see the charges?
So yeah, I saw that he was like assault or something, right?
Okay, he got
A police officer or something like that, or like I know he there was reckless driving, and I think there was one more.
4 charges. 4.
Yeah.
He got it's a felony, second degree assault of a police officer. I guess he said his wrist was hurt or something from holding onto the door and getting drug. I don't know. And then he got 3 misdemeanors. He got third degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, and disregarding traffic signals from an officer. Woo.
So I read a lot of this and didn't see, and they always,
Yeah.
with police reports, they always word them very carefully and professionally. And so it's sometimes it can make the most white trash thing sound elegant. When he said the police officer was attached to the car, so he drove off while the police officer was holding on to the car.
It seems like he was trying to drive around the situation. And I don't know if he thought the cop was trying to flag him through or if he was just trying to hold people up. I don't know, but from the sounds of it, the cop was trying to get him to stop and was, yelling at him or whatever. And then he grabbed a hold of the door handle and Buddy just kept driving. And then eventually he stopped and got yelled at and got drug out of the car and taken in and booked. So
I love it, man. I mean, Scottie Scheffler, the best golfer in the world and a bad boy. And the best part about this whole thing is that I don't know what time this all happened, whether it was 6, 7, whatever. He showed up for his tee time and he started on time. He was like, look, I got a tee time at whatever. I'm golfing today.
And he birdied his first hole.
I think he birdied on the second hole or something like that.
It's crazy, man.
And I mean, what a legend, dude. I love that. And the fans obviously there have been really reacting well. They love it. I think this is cool. I really do think this is cool. Yeah. And I also, if we're being serious, one, there's a fatal crash, I would not recommend anyone make light of that. Even if you're driving by a situation like that, be cautious. But I mean, it's not like this was just a normal tee time. This is a Scottie Scheffler tee time at a real event. He had to get there, but didn't they say that the leader, the co-owner of the club, the vice president of the club, went and picked him up from jail?
Yeah, he might have been with him in the car or something. It's just
it's pretty wild, but yeah, I like that. I also would assume if I had to go out on a limb, I would say a lot of these charges end up getting dropped just based on you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like this. Now that they know what's going on, they know who Scottie Scheffler is, they know what was going on. It's okay, are we really going to try and throw this guy in prison for trying to get to his golf tournament?
Right. I was the Tiger Woods meme that's been running around where he's getting ready to dap up his caddy or whatever. He's like, "What's up, big dog?" And so I've been seeing that kind of fly around. It's oh yeah, when Tiger sees Scheffler on the course this morning.
I saw somebody post the Soulja Boy clip where he's like, he stole my whole fucking flow. Word for word. Or the Tom Brady meme where he turns around in the courthouse and he's like, oh, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That video, it's just good stuff. There's nothing cooler in America than when golfers get arrested and we can all talk about it.
Yeah.
We literally don't talk about golf as a country that much, but the Masters, we talk about it. And then when a golfer gets arrested, it's front page news. But yeah, Hillary said that's all they were talking about at JB Hunt today was Scottie Scheffler. So I knew that's when you got a good 6-pack topic. If scuttlebutt is talking about something, that's Well, and also we talked about the college football trailer drop at a convenient time. Pretty pleasing to wake up on a day that we had kind of planned to do the 6-pack, to wake up and see news that is tailor-made. Tailor-made, get it?
Hey, yes.
Tailor-made for our program.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is funny. You kind of started this trend with us of asking AI about what our shows are. You asked the Grok fella on Twitter, and we did that for the six pack, and that was incredible this morning. The description it pumped out. So, listen, before we do move ahead to the next topic, I do want to take a minute to tell you about our friends at Signature Bank. Hopefully, I can do it a little bit better than Grok did this morning. I don't know, but I thought it was electric. Signature is a privately held boutique bank that's redefining the banking experience in our region. They, as well as us, apparently, blend the warmth and familiarity of a community bank with the sophistication of a commercial bank and the expertise of private banking to deliver unmatched levels of service. You're looking for reasons to bank with Signature. There's plenty of them. They're personally invested, business-minded, community-focused, right-size, and forward-thinking. Check out one of their Arkansas locations or visit the website www.signature.bank. I absolutely love that got brought up in the description. It's like, listen, they talk about everything from hip-hop love triangles to manager basketball games, and they really blend the warmth and familiarity of
So I'm just wondering, like, how, because like obviously you did it twice, right? And it gave you two different answers.
Yeah, yep.
Does it just do a quick scan of the internet and it's like trying to give its best guess? Full disclosure, when I did the Bombastic podcast one, it gave me such a good answer. It almost moved me to tears.
It was beautiful.
Referring
Yeah.
to my program as a digital, by the way, shout out to the Bombastic podcast. Got the cool hat right here.
There we go.
It referred to it as a digital dugout. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. But then you see like the rest of it and it's like, oh, they're taking stuff that I've said on the show and they're kind of trying to make it. But I love that the Signature Bank ad just got thrown in there. But I mean, shout out to Signature Bank. They do
man.
have the community focused banking, but they also have the resources of a big bank. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It was funny. Me and Scottie did that for the pot at the Palace, and I did it once, and it was real solid. It's like, oh, it's a basketball focused podcast. Curtis Wilkerson, Scottie Borderline. They talk Razorback basketball, recruiting, whatever. Great. It was solid. And I did it again. There was like, they talk everything from basketball to local cuisine and food topics. And I was like, when the hell were we talking about spaghetti or something? Like,
it said something about hotels too. Because think
yeah,
about this. Y'all did a show at the Arlington Hotel.
yeah.
Y'all did a show at a Nashville hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were staying in Little Rock, so like on a trip, not at a hotel, but I think they've just kind of connected y'all, like the AI connected y'all with
It's like they're a traveling band. Yeah. It's pretty crazy, man. Okay. Mike Tyson, brother. I'm again, timing is great here. I'm so happy that all this has happened. Mike Tyson was always highly, highly entertaining in the ring because, I mean, he's a powerful man. Like one square punch, it can finish a guy. Like you're just always on the edge of your seat when you watch him fight. He was also like equally entertaining on the mic. I mean, he's got some great one. Like I'll eat your children. My style is impregnable. It was
my
spinal. Yeah, exactly.
Spinal.
He's starting to bring the heat at Jake Paul, which I appreciate. Like, like make this a fight, man. Sell it the best you can. I heard some of the things at their press conference that I appreciated. He was telling Jake Paul, like, listen, when you step in the ring, you better step in there like your life is on the line because it's gonna be. I love that. Getting that little man's head. I shouldn't say little man. He's like 260 pounds now, but
especially not right now. That boy's big now.
Yeah, he's so, dude. He's juiced to the freaking gills. His pecs don't even look. It looks weird, man. There's something wrong with him. But Tyson got a little out of pocket, dude.
Yeah, as he tends to do. So this happened a while ago. Like in Mike Tyson's prime, he was going on a rant and it became a little homoerotic about halfway through. I have the clip in my Twitter bookmarks, not joking.
Beautiful.
And he literally is like, I'll F you in your asshole. And he's like calling him the homophobic F slur and like saying all this. And then he's like, and then he has a line that he yelled at I don't even know who he was yelling at. This is back in the day. He had a line where Mike Tyson, I'm kidding you, I can pull up the video if I need, where he says, I will F you and make you love me, you F word, hard F word, like the gay one. And I'm like, that's a crazy thing to say as a man who like could, threatening to kill someone. It's like, well, he just said he mixes in some homoerotic commentary in his trash talk. It's kind of a thing he does. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I mean, at this point, you just have to roll the clip, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna play the clip, and I need to watch the entire press conference because it sounds like, I don't know, Jake Paul said something weird about, oh, I'm gonna kiss him in the ring or something along those lines, but he was asked about it, and then yeah, let's try to play this and see what we think.
He wanted to kiss me?
He said he
Indeed.
Huh? He said he wanted to kiss you.
That's so ironic that he said that, because I saw a picture of him dancing at 16 doing that little dance on YouTube, and for some reason I had an erection.
So he saw Jake Paul dancing at 16, and it got him going.
This one, Mike Tyson admitting to seeing a video of an underage boy dance and being aroused by it. Weird thing to admit publicly.
That's wild behavior.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, look, again, this is just kind of Mike Tyson's thing. He talks a lot of trash, and he's intimidating and scary, but he's also likes to feel up the fellas here and there, and we'll let you know about it. I don't know. It's very interesting, but
it's a little.
I think that's also one of those things where it's like, if you hear Mike Tyson say that and you're Jake Paul, kind of has to put you in a pretzel a little bit, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, 100%. And that was the other note I made on it. You're absolutely right. I mean, let's be honest here. Jake Paul, like, I mean, he would be walking around holding Mike Tyson's pocket if they were both in prison. I mean, it's just 100%. The way it is, you know? So, like, jokes or not, Jake Paul left that presser feeling some type of way. Like, it's mind games, man. It's like he probably was back home that night sitting with Logan just going, you think he meant that? You know, like, this guy's kind of, what have I gotten myself into here?
Yeah, man. And look, now, outside of that clip, I've seen, like you referenced, like Mike Tyson saying, your life's going to be on the line. And he's clearly he's trying to tap back into the version of himself that he was 20 years ago. That killer, that demon who's like going to do anything to win and all that. And I'll be honest with you, I have no problem with it. I also have no problem with it from a fight selling standpoint. Like, get weird with this stuff. Like, you and I, we appreciate combat sports, but it really takes weird stuff for us to get into boxing. Like, it has to be either two massive stars, big names, or they have to do something weird. And sometimes it can be both. This is both here, but I'm all about it from a fight promotion standpoint. But also, it's like, I just think Mike Tyson has to kind of go to a different place when he's preparing to fight. I mean, most of these guys kind of do, but Mike Tyson, that place for him is a bizarre world that I have no interest in being in, but it's where he goes pre-fight, and more power to him. I would love to see him show up and show admirably at this fight.
Me too.
And boy Branson is going to be at, by the way.
Yeah, how about that, man? And honestly, Tyson's starting. I mean, he's starting to look pretty good. Like, it looks like he's starting to get into pretty damn good shape. Did you see that? I mean, it's a professionally sanctioned fight. I mean, like, it's counting on their professional records, but they've shortened the rounds from 3 minutes to 2 minutes.
So how many rounds is it? 6?
It's eight rounds, 2-minute rounds. And Tyson was saying he wanted that to happen because if it's 2-minute rounds, they'll fight more. Like, it's not going to be a dance around, guys fatigued or whatever. Like, you go in there and you throw hands and get a drink of water and go back at it. So I kind of like that. Like, somebody might get knocked the hell out.
And that is good because all the good clips that we've seen of Mike Tyson, I've seen some of them too, him in training, him hitting the pads and all that. They're all very short intervals. You don't see a 4-minute session. You don't see
nothing extended.
I think the cardio it has to be in question. I mean, it would be in question for, even high level professional athletes. Going 8 rounds in a boxing fight is not something that a lot of people could do. Like, it's just a hard thing to do, even really good athletes that are in shape. So I could imagine how that would be a concern for Mike Tyson. So I think that's certainly got to be an advantage for him, especially because Jake Paul's been boxing here for a few years and going through these camps, and he could probably do 8 rounds, 3 minutes, like it's no big deal. So I think this probably helps Tyson, and so I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you for sure. And that's, they've officially sold out AT&T Stadium,
which is not an easy feat at all.
No, the Cowboys aren't going to do that.
They're going to be able to pack in there. I mean, the AT&T seats like 65,000 or something when it's a football game, but for boxing, I'd imagine they can get a few more in there.
Yeah, probably, several hundred, maybe, well, hell, probably more than that. Just ringside seats out there, and so I don't know. It's going to be.
I could see it being like $80K.
Yeah,
that's going to be crazy, man.
Crazy. Mike's set for life. If he blew through his money, he'll be fine after this. So,
well, and with it being on Netflix and it being basically free for a lot of people. I mean, obviously Netflix isn't free, but a lot of people have Netflix, so it's like, or they have access to Netflix somehow. I bet it's going to be one of the most watched sporting events of all time, or at least combat sports.
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, and I want to bring this up now so I don't forget to do it in a little bit. But once we saw the college football trailer drop, like something had to get bumped. So we bumped the Tyson Fury and Usyk fight off. But we need to talk about that for a minute because that's happening on Saturday, like a midday thing over here, I think. So
it's in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah,
which is kind of the home of combat sports at this point. I mean,
apparently so. I'm anxious to see what your thoughts are and like what your prediction is for this. I think what happened with Francis is exactly what Tyson Fury needed. To have a little bit of a wake up call and really get back after it. He looks like he's in the best shape I've seen him in a long time. I think he's about to beat Usyk's ass. I really do. I think he's going to spark him up.
Well, he's certainly a lot larger than him. Like, no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of the Francis fight, I would assume we're going to get a much, much, much sharper, much crisper, much more in shape version of Tyson Fury. But here's the weird thing about boxing and why it's kind of like I can't really get behind it as a concept. They do this thing where they kind of build up these stars almost, and they never fight each other or even really the same opponents. They just kind of both fight random people that no one's ever heard of, and they kind of both are 52-0, and it's like, oh yeah, how will these, like, nobody knows the answer to whether or not Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua is better at boxing, and we will never know. Like, they're just not going to get in there and fight. Credit to Wilder and Fury for fighting 3 times and putting on some classic performances. I mean, that third fight was one of the best fights I've ever seen, I would argue.
Right.
But it's just kind of a weird thing where these guys don't fight each other. So it's like, look, I'm not a huge boxing guy. I see our boy JT Hazelwood in the chat. He can probably give us more insight onto Usyk. And before I bet, I will be hitting up JT. But I really don't know anything about Usyk because these guys have avoided each other for so long. And when I say they've avoided each other, it seems, at least with the scuttlebutt on the internet, like Tyson Fury's been the one avoiding Usyk. So you kind of wonder, is it just doesn't have any interest in fighting him, not a big enough name? Both are probably valid. Does he see some concern in this matchup? Is that maybe why he's getting into such good shape? Because he knows he's going to have to bring his best performance. I don't know the answers to any of these questions, but I can't wait to find out. I can't wait. Usyk looks really, he looks like a terrifying guy. I mean, he's way smaller than
crazy.
Tyson. Like I said, he's like legit 225, 230, which for heavyweight is not big at all. But he looks really locked in, man. And I think it's going to end up being a great fight based on the very little information that I know about this.
Usyk has a great poker face.
He does.
And he's got crazy eyes.
Not staring at him during the stare off or the face down.
Yeah.
I
he
really
also wears his shorts very high.
He does. Tyson Fury is a damn performer, dude. He's an entertainer and a performer. And I'll watch that guy. I'll watch that guy box or do anything any day of the week, like, for sure. Now, it is worth noting, you mentioned the Francis fight. We know he'll look better than that, but he got pieced up by Francis Ngannou, who Anthony Joshua showed us is not a high level.
Not him.
Is not a guy that should be giving problems to a legit championship level heavyweight. So, we'll see. I wonder if that combined, his performance against Fury and Joshua's maybe made Tyson Fury be like, hey, I got to lock in a little bit. So I'll be interested to see if he's able to do it this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight. It's gonna be a doozy, and I might have to hit you up to figure out the stream situation.
We'll be locked in.
Okay, moving on. You remember the whole shut up and dribble thing?
Oh yeah,
I think it's turned into shut up and kick now. Is that what's going on? Leave it to a kicker, Andrew, to ruffle a bunch of feathers. Harrison Butker of the Kansas City Chiefs, a great kicker in his own right. He gave a commencement speech at Benedictine, which, fun fact that nobody cares about, very religious school in Kansas that I used to coach against all the time. They were in our conference. We played them twice every damn year. He ticked. He ticked.
I knew it was a religious school, but I didn't know that you had ties.
Yeah, well, knowing the deal with that school, and honestly, we used to go there, by the way, and they would have a different theme for every time we play them. Like sometimes they would do the Silent Night game where the crowd's like not allowed to do anything until they score their first basket, and then they erupt and go crazy. Then sometimes it's the first bucket and it's the toilet paper rolls they throw out there and you got to clean it up. One time it was ping pong balls. So it's I respect to the Ravens for their student section, whatever. Anyway, for him to give the speech that he gave at the place that he did is a choice, I would say. But what did you make about some of the things that he had to say? Because in some ways, I'm thinking like with the like taking shots at the LGBTQ thing, I was like, that you probably shouldn't have gone that route. Some of the comments about the women and stuff, like it's context. I think you could really go either way with it. So I don't know. It was a weird deal.
I wasn't a fan of it. I really,
Yeah.
as a woke white man, just really didn't sit well with me. But I will say, I just the one thing, if I could be somewhat serious here for a second, the one thing I really didn't like is him addressing the men and women separately and being like, men, you are leaders of this country, leaders of this community, blah, 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 blah. Be a man, the society, like prop them up. And then women, he obviously kind of was like, hey, I know people tell you in college that you should get a job, but you should really just make sure the home is ready. Like that, the whole context of what he was saying, I thought was crazy. But I also thought that it was stupid because he was like, hey, women, you've been told to seek promotions and all that, but the most happiness you're going to get is from being a wife and being a whatever, which, by the way, one is just it's a tone deaf thing to say just at a graduation where you got these women about to enter, these men and women entering the workforce and all that. But it's also like, that's not exclusive to women. Like there's a lot of men I know who, work and have goals outside of their life and everything. But the most important thing to them is their family, is their wife, is their children. Like
that should have been the message in and of itself, And
like, that's where I really
career
didn't
is
like
important and
of the men and
for
women.
the stars, but I like keep in mind what's really important, or I don't know, whatever. Like there's a way better way to deliver that message.
There's a different way to portray that message and a different way to go about that. I just thought like commencement speech,
really weird
time to pull that out. And also I just can't help but laugh at the notion of a kicker being like, this world needs more masculinity.
Yeah, dude.
Being like, we need to let guys be dudes, be men.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to go to our blue collar jobs. Now I'm going to go kick this ball.
Right. Yeah. That's
soccer because I'm so masculine. Like, shut up, Harrison Butker, dude.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's very cool. Yeah. You're at an NAI school giving a graduation speech. Nice work, man. And the other thing about it too is like, if you did want to look at his comments about women and say, well, he probably meant it better than it sounded or whatever, you could do that, but it's probably not true considering he was, taking shots at Pride Month and, like LGBTQ and like he was throwing some darts out there. So I'm sure that was probably directed.
That he has, Curtis.
The what?
He's got some allegations.
Oh,
some gay allegations, if you will.
Really?
Now Hillary told me this. Hillary.
Okay.
Anytime there's a big story, I can usually get one piece of information that nobody else could give me from Hillary. She'll find it on TikTok somewhere, but there was basically heavy rumors when he was in college that he was hooking up with a guy from Georgia Tech. That him and I don't know if it was a kicker, I don't know if it was what, but there were like it's kind of a thing that as soon as Harrison Butker started kind of going around and around, some people started being like, the guy who was sucking dick in high school, this guy, this guy's talking about masculinity. So whether or not it's true, who knows? But another fascinating layer to this discussion here. But
he ticked off the Swifties too.
Funny when people view themselves as like so self-important, and it's really funny for a kicker to go up there and be like, "We need more masculinity, man." I just think it's funny.
He got a standing ovation at the end of it. Did you see that?
Well, okay, and I'm glad you said that because the one thing. So obviously, we all saw this on the internet, and we were all rubbed the wrong way by it. Mm-hmm. But you mentioned the context of the school he was at. Seems like if there were one college you could give this speech at, and like that'd be cool, it would probably be the super religious Catholic school.
Yeah.
The women were probably like, you know what? I probably do need to be in the kitchen. Damn.
Yeah, maybe so. Oh man, that's pretty good. Let's move on to these NBA playoffs, man, which have just, to me, it's really delivered. And we'll see who's gonna join the Celtics here. let's get through the boring part first, which is, do you think the Knicks are going to finish it off tonight or what against the
Probably.
Pacers? I think they probably will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't even care about that. Dallas and OKC, I don't care about that much either, but it's at least been entertaining. There's been some Coach Cal vibes there. You know, he went and checked that out. Had some good sound bites from that. That was cool. But Minnesota and Denver, man, this has been a crazy series. Like, I mean, the Nuggets were they were completely on the ropes, and then they respond in those next two games at Minnesota. They got the hell beat out of them last night, man. I mean, a 45-point beatdown of the defending champs. That's crazy. It looked like they were playing with wet shoes, man. They couldn't move. Minnesota's flying all over the place. Anthony Edwards is him. He's talking after the game. I mean, that was crazy. I have no idea what to expect in this game 7, but I'm here for it. I mean, this is what you need.
Anyone acting like they know what's going to happen in that game 7 is lying. I mean, look, there's literally been 40-point defeats on both sides. We've seen the full spectrum of this series. I mean, think about it. The first 2 games, Minnesota goes to Denver and really brings it to them and blew them out really hard in that game too. I think they beat them by like 30-something in that game too. Moment there where you're like, hey, the Timberwolves are the team to beat. They were 6-0 in the playoffs. It's like they're unstoppable. The Nuggets are toast. Then the Nuggets win 3 straight, and you're kind of like, okay, here we are. Of course, Jokic is winning. Like, man, the Timberwolves are in trouble. Like, good team, but you know they're losing to the better team here. For them to flip the script that way, I mean, back home in Minnesota was really impressive. But it also just, like I said, just leads us to a point where we have no idea what's going to happen in this game 7. I think it's going to be awesome. You've got so many good players, 2 clearly great teams, probably the 2 best teams in the league. Like, if we're being honest, this is pretty much like this might be deciding your NBA champion right now. And I will say, just the playoffs overall, you mentioned that it's like lived up to the hype. It's lived up to the hype in every single way because this series is clearly like a potential, NBA Finals preview. You have Dallas OKC, which is super hotly contested. Really good to see the Thunder go through this test because they're kind of the team that, had the best record, but it's like, do we really believe them? If they're going to win, if they come out of this series, they were going to have to win 2 straight, but it's like, that would be a really impressive test for them. Or you have Luka and Kyrie starting to get it going, and they're interesting. They're going to be a tough out for anyone. That's lived up to the hype, and the East has been pretty boring with Boston likely coming out on top. That's pretty much like it's been to a T, kind of what we expected.
Mm-hmm.
That Mavericks Thunder series, I have to brag for just a moment. There have been 5 games completed in this series. I bet all 5 correctly. Money line straight up just went Thunder, Mavs, Thunder, Mavs. I think I'm going to go Thunder in game 6.
Wow.
And then I think I'm going to go Mavs in game 7.
Going to 7? I would love that. I would absolutely love it.
By the way, would mean that the Thunder would have to win a game 6 in Dallas, and then Dallas would have to win a game 7 in OKC.
It's not crazy.
How I see it playing out. I'm a madman. I'm a goon. Sorry. But also, man, like you said, that Timberwolves Nuggets series, I had Nuggets in both of the first 2 games, and then I stayed away from game 3 after Denver got blown out so aggressively. But since then, I went Nuggets, Wolves. So I'm feeling pretty good from the gambling standpoint. I did lose money on the Arkansas Razorbacks last night, but I feel pretty good. So I'm really looking forward. I guess that's tonight. There's games, right? Or a game.
The Knicks Pacers is tonight.
Pacers. Okay, never mind. So then tomorrow,
whatever. So no, not a game.
Under game 6.
Yeah, Sunday is Denver, Minnesota.
I like that we've really now reached that point where it's one a day NBA playoffs. Yeah,
sign me up for that. Good time.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. You don't have the 6:30 NBA TV special going on. Yeah, it's nice. But the NBA playoffs have been really, really fun. And man, I mean, like, I guess like the East is the weird one, but it's like, which team for you personally, Curtis? Which team would bring you the most happiness if they were to pull it together and win the title here?
Well, I mean, the easy answer is probably the Thunder. I like the story, man, and not just because of Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams. I mean, that's cool. That's a nice perk of it. But just where they were at, you had Rush, you had KD, you had Hart, you had all those guys, and you go through the crazy rebuild with all these draft picks. They're ahead of schedule. It's fairly regional. I would like that, but I got to be honest, man. There's just something about the T-Wolves that I just love it, man. Like I'm endeared by Anthony Edwards. Um, I really, really enjoy that team, and they've kind of, I wouldn't say they've come out of nowhere, but they kind of have. And,
Yeah,
I mean, like you said,
contender for sure.
Yeah, like the Thunder, like you said, like they had the best record, they're the number 1 seed. You're trying to figure it out. They were kind of like the darling that maybe was, ahead of schedule, but it's been the T-Wolves that have stolen the show, and they've kind of taken over the story. So I like the idea of that, I think, more than anything. But honestly, I could really talk myself into a lot of things. I mean, I've never been a big Celtics fan, but I'm obviously a big Jason Tatum guy for St. Louis purposes. I wouldn't be upset about that. Love Luka, and so like as long as it's not the Knicks or the Pacers, and it won't be, then I don't guess I really care. And you can miss me with the repeat for Denver. I don't care about that either. So.
That's the thing is like I felt like for a while we were heading towards a cool thing where there's all this parity and then the Nuggets just repeat and Jokic is still the best player in the league and all that. But I'll tell you what I really like about this NBA playoffs before we move on here is think about the league like 7-8 years ago when you were having Cavs, Warriors in every finals, and like you really had to have a super team to win the title. And like, you just looked at both of those teams. Like if you're an NBA team, say you're the Oklahoma City Thunder trying to rebuild your team or whatever, and you're looking at the Golden State Warriors and you're like, all right, how can we replicate that?
Mm-hmm.
We've got to hit on a top 10 pick that becomes the best shooter ever. We have to get another elite shooter that we drafted in the lottery. We have to get a second round pick to turn into the defensive player of the year. We've also got to sign KD somehow in the middle of that. We've got to nail all these things and hire a legendary coach. Like, or you look at Cleveland and you're like, we have to have LeBron, LeBron and Kyrie. Like, it wasn't really like there were so many teams in the league who were just disqualified from competing for the title on day one of the season. Like 20 of the teams in the league just had zero chance. And like you had some teams that were scrappy and close, but a lot of teams felt like it didn't really feel like a true like parity among the league. But I look at all these teams in this league and especially the teams that are left. I mean, so different. So many different makeups, so many different ways. I mean, the Timberwolves are doing it kind of all with defense and with a guy in Anthony Edwards who's a really good scorer, but it's like they're pretty much just the best defensive team in the league that is hammering down. They've got a really good home court advantage. Like it's like they have their own thing. The Nuggets are obviously a high level offense that have this mutant running things from the post. You've got the Knicks who have a 6-foot guard who's leading them through this whole thing with a ragtag group of misfits. And then you've got the Celtics who kind of look more like your overall well-rounded team. It's just like there's so many different personalities, skill sets, and team makeups. It's a really fun time to watch the NBA. And whoever comes out of this it's going to be a big time. I mean, you're either going to get Luka getting his first ring, an Oklahoma City dynasty potentially forming, Boston, your St. Louis boy, Jason Tatum, finally getting that ring to kind of fulfill the prophecy of his career. Because it feels like since he was 16, we've all been kind of looking at him as this next superstar, this next KD, this next LeBron, this next whatever. And like, it would be really cool for Jason Tatum to finally get that one ring off of his shoulder. So he's kind of, solidified himself as a face of the league. It's going to be cool no matter what, unless it's Denver.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Like Nikola Jokic, like how are you going to root against that guy? He's a generational player, man. He really is.
Gotta love him. Yeah, you absolutely do. To stick with the basketball theme here, Andrew, as we move on to the flurry and then we'll get to the chat. Let's go WNBA for a second. And I got to ask you, maybe I'm overreacting a little bit. Are we on Caitlin Clark bust watch or what? Because she had 10 turnovers in her debut. And then last night she was held single-digit scoring for the first time since she was a freshman in college.
Yeah, I always think it's
funny. The people are talking.
So look, we're talking about the WNBA right now, Curtis, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to make a joke. I still do not know what the scheduling of the WNBA is. Like, I guess the season just started like last week. But
yeah,
it's always funny to me how they get drafted and then like a week later they're making their debut. Like she literally was playing for Iowa like a month and like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, like when was that national title game? Was it in April? Maybe yeah.
I don't know. It always is fascinating to me, but I think that's funny. I mean, there would not be a cooler sports. I mean, not cooler sports story, but it would not be funnier than if Caitlin Clark was just a massive bust in the NBA or the WNBA. That'd be wild.
Especially when like when she was doing her thing in the NCAA tournament, and you were hearing like Diana Taurasi and some of the other chicks like, oh, she's gonna learn. No, she'll figure it out when she gets up here. And everybody's like, oh, they're just salty or whatever because she's finally the one who's getting the attention. And then, she comes up in her first 2 games. And listen, like last night, for example, she scored under 10 points, but she damn near had a triple double, like for what it's worth.
Got blown out, and I don't think it was like I think our team sucks. I think that's the one thing I've learned through 1 week of the WNBA season is the Indiana Fever stink.
Yeah, they're not good. That's right.
I've noticed this, Curtis, and I had this actually written down in the flurry. So I guess this will count here. The WNBA, the players of the WNBA are trying to be hot again. I don't even know if again is the right term, but we mentioned Kelsey Plum, whatever, Arkansas ties, Mike Neighbors' friend.
Yep.
She had an interesting outfit for her first game of the year.
She did.
I'm seeing like girls in heels. I'm seeing dresses. I saw someone, who I think Angel Reese got drafted by Chicago. And apparently they have 2, good-looking girls on their team. And so, like, people were putting all these things. They're like, who has a better-looking big 3 than Chicago? And it's like Angel Reese and these 2 girls. I'm like, the WNBA, they're trying to be hot.
Do you think it's like a coincidence or an actual marketing type of deal? I wonder.
I think it's a great marketing deal because, like, why not? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no disrespect. Like, obviously, like, look, I like to support women's athletics. I really do. I'm a huge gymnastics guy. We talked about Caitlin Clark on this program. Like, it's not like this is it's all for show here, but it's like, we've seen over the last decade or so that from a just pure basketball standpoint, the WNBA does not move the needle. But now that you have stars like Caitlin Clark, who are kind of global sensations a little bit, that helps. Leaning into what people like. I see Elle in the chat talking about Cameron Brink is so fine. Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
She's a tall blonde girl. I don't know who she plays for.
Okay.
But she basically looks like Cameron Diaz, but she's like a
Rudy
Gobert.
Yeah, there we go.
if Cameron Diaz was just like, I'm gonna be an interior paint protector now, it's like it's interesting. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I think that the WNBA is probably being talked about more than it's ever been right now. I'm sure Caitlin Clark plays a little bit of a role in that. Some of those other stars like Diana Taurasi and all these guys starting to talk about the league a little bit more. It's pretty cool, but also it's like, yeah, we like looking at hot people, and I don't mean that just for women, men too. We talk about how many times on this program have we talked about men being handsome guys,
good looking fellas, man. Yeah.
Probably 6 or 7 times. Like it's worth noting when there are good looking people on the television screen. America tunes in. So WNBA, lean into that a little bit.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, dude, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a prime example of how being handsome can help. He's modeling and stuff. He's become a star from Canada, and his basketball play is not even really the main reason why.
He really modeling?
Yeah, he's
I didn't know that.
him and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook was obviously big into fashion. I think Shai is really big into the fashion game of like wearing these expensive fits and stuff. And I believe he has actually like walked in runways and stuff wearing his blazers and such. But and he's got the cool commercial with Chet Holmgren. I mean,
yeah, there you go. Okay.
But I always see Oklahoma City Thunder fans like posting stuff about him, and like it's like I didn't see a single clip of him dribbling a basketball. I just saw him warming up and him getting looked at. It seems like y'all just have a crush on him. I don't know.
Hey, I know. I think the volume was down, but we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I want to get your take now that we're on the air. When we were at Tin Roof yesterday, we were watching Stephen A. Smith talking about getting a bucket on LeBron James if they played 1-on-1. And so I think basically the context was play first to 100, and Stephen A. Smith is spotted 99 points. Does he win the game? And but it was highly entertaining. Your typical cheesy shtick or whatever. But I got the sense that when everybody was shutting Stephen A. down with this, that he was a little bit offended. Like, are you serious? Like, you think this dude could give me 100 before I got a bucket? I don't see Stephen A scoring on Braun. I don't care what the circumstances are.
Well, and I told you yesterday, like, I really think it would come down to whether or not LeBron like got experimental with it and like let him shoot a three, let him, take, if it simply came down to skill set and like whether or not Stephen A or any normal human for that matter could score on LeBron, it's going to be a no. It's like, what move are you going to pull out that's going to get you space against LeBron?
Right. Nothing.
Like,
he
obviously,
can crowd
like I said,
you the entire time because you're not going to beat him to the rim. And if you do, he's the king of the chase down. So
the chase down block. He could probably give you a running start from the 3-point line and run from half court, and still you wouldn't be able to score 1 out of 100 times. Like, it just is what it is. It would literally come down to like whether or not Stephen A could make a half court shot, or if like what shots LeBron would allow him. But if LeBron has any sort of motivation and it's like, oh, you're getting legit playoff defense, LeBron, there's no way any of us are scoring on that dude.
No, nope.
I mean, there's like probably NBA players who it would take them a good bit of time before they scored. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't think a normal civilian. I have seen Stephen A's jumper though, not horrible, but
yeah, he's got a small amount of game to him, so yeah, I'll give him that.
He has like a round about what a normal person from New York has, I would say. Like he's got a little bag.
Oh man. Hey, I'm going to finish The Sopranos tonight, by the way.
That's big time, dude. I'm excited about it. So have you started the last season yet?
Yeah, I'm like 5-6 episodes into it, so.
Well, I'm looking forward to when you're officially finished. Like, obviously there's things that have happened now that I can talk to you about, but every time you and I would talk about Sopranos, I would always be like, can I reference this or can I reference that? But once you're finished, it'll be nice to just talk about the characters and know that everything. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah,
that's gonna be exciting. For our flurry, Curtis, I did want to just share a quick little nugget of news that we talked about yesterday. The UFC is going to Manchester.
Oh man,
we knew already, but they announced the entire main card, which you really don't see happen a lot. Now, some of these fights had been kind of rumored for a while, but Leon Edwards, of course, defending his belt against Bilal Muhammad. That is a main event that might not excite casual fans, probably doesn't excite even some hardcore fans. But I think when you combine it with Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades, who Tom Aspinall defending the interim championship, which just by definition doesn't make any sense.
Zero.
Yeah. If you're defending an interim championship, that means that the main champion really needs to relinquish his belt is really what that means. But
so if he wins, is he just still the interim champion?
I think about how funny that would be if Curtis Blades won and he won the interim belt. And it's like, you think John Jones is going to fight Curtis Blades? Hell no.
Right. Yeah. If he's not fighting Aspinall, he's not fighting Curtis Blades. So.
Right. And should also mention that Tom Aspinall from Manchester, Leon Edwards from Birmingham, England, so not too far away. So you've got two guys who are not stars globally, but stars in that neck of the woods. I think that'll be really cool to see both those guys on that big stage. Paddy the Baddy, who I'm sure a lot of these folks in the chat know, he's obviously from Liverpool, but he'll be there in Manchester to fight Bobby Green, who is a friend.
He's going to lose to Bobby Green.
Love Bobby Green. I feel like this is going to be a great fight, man.
I can't wait for that one, dude.
Manel Cape, who we might have even talked about on this program whenever he dropped that homophobic slur that one time, but he's a fun 125-pound fighter. He's fighting against an undefeated guy who trains in Liverpool, so it's like, Arnold Allen, also a UK guy. Like they've got some nice UK flavor, a lot of ranked fights on there. It's going to be really awesome. It's going to be an awesome card. I can't wait for it. I love Leon Edwards a lot. He just is he's one of my favorite like good dudes in sports that is just a normal guy that happened to be very good. But him and Aspinall both really like two of my favorite fighters. So I'm excited for that. I do feel bad for the crowd in Manchester because they are starting it at a normal US pay-per-view time, which is 9 p.m. Central for the main card, which means we're looking at like a 3 a.m. main card start time for an event held in Manchester. Now, for us Americans, which everything revolves around, it's cool, but I'm just like, man, that sucks if you're attending that event or if you're fighting at that event. I mean, you got to for like the weeks leading up, you kind of have to change your entire schedule to where you're peaking at 3 a.m. It's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I mean,
should be really
the
fun.
same thing for the dudes fighting who were, I mean, and again, like a lot of them are from England, so that's good. But yeah, like if you're based in America or whatever, you got to get over there ASAP.
Yeah, you
get
better
ready
you
for
better
that.
get over there and get on your right schedule, man. It's gonna be tough.
And that is what, that's 302 or
304. So you
Oh,
got
that's 304. So that's
302 is gonna
that's
be
post Connor,
yes.
the first one after that. Okay.
We've got a nice little summer lineups. I mean, you've got Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier in June in Newark. Sean Strickland, Paulo Costas on that one. You've got
That's
the Conor
302.
McGregor card, which is going to be a huge show. I mean, they're already projected to break records, which I guess is UFC 303. Then this would be 304 in Manchester in July.
Okay.
Then they're going to go to the Sphere in Las Vegas. The big bubble thing. They're going to do an event there.
Yeah.
Probably looking at Sean O'Malley for that. That'll be awesome. It's going to be a fun summer for the fight fans. It's going to be a fun summer.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about all of that. That'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully they're out of the Apex soon and making their way.
By the way, as a St. Louis guy, I guess we should also just before we get out of here mention that. Shout out to St. Louis they might have saved the UFC and officially abolished the Apex because right after that show, Dana White was like, "Yeah, we ain't doing Apex too much longer."
Yep.
This was awesome. I think it was almost 16,000 people showed up at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis for that UFC event.
The card was just
non-pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Let's get UFC Little Rock, man. Let's get Bryce Mitchell headlining a UFC Little Rock card, man.
I'm in for it. I'm here.
Let's make it happen. We get JK Hazelwood. They'll offer you a fight on that card, man. I know he's still listening.
Yeah, get him in there. We need to see rock the. We'll get you some Natty State shorts to rock in there. So
that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. What else is happening in the world today? I forgot to go back and write down more stuff for my flurry. You see anything crazy in the world?
Not really. I mean, Biden and Trump are actually going to debate each other. That's going to happen.
Great.
Yeah, Biden kind of called him out. He was like, "Yeah, I'll debate you. Make my day, pal." And he literally said that, which I thought was funny. But I
saw Joe Biden tweet a picture of him handing someone an L, like the L Photoshop thing, and I checked like 3 times to make sure it was actually his Twitter account. Joe Biden's Twitter account, whoever's running that is a goober.
Yeah.
Absolute goober.
Oh man, that's pretty good. But no, I mean, I think now we just go to the weekend. It's all about Arkansas baseball now, bud.
Yeah, it is. Which, by the way, Arkansas baseball is apparently going back to Arlington in 2025. Joked. DVH has joked that he's like, after they left Round Rock, he's like, we're going to Arlington every year. And I kind of thought he was joking, but every year since then they've gone to Arlington. Doesn't look like they're gonna go anywhere else. I think he wants that indoor, but that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
But what else? Oh, I actually did want to mention one thing. You see, the Astros got caught cheating again. Did
they really?
Sure did.
What they do this
time?
Not
as bad this time. And honestly, this time it really was like, kind of we got a raw deal here actually. So Ronel Blanco, who threw a no-hitter earlier this year out of nowhere, but after the 4th inning of his start the other day, they saw that he had rosin residue on his non-throwing hand, which apparently is illegal. You have the bag of rosin that you're allowed to use and whatever, but you're not allowed to have it on your glove or your non-throwing hand. Now, I had seen a clip from literally the day before of some Tigers pitcher who had stuff on his hand, and they just told him to go wash it, and he did, and then was fine. For some reason, they ejected our guy right away. He didn't even speak English. He was very confused. He was like, what's going on?
It's a prejudice, man. Like, they're already under the microscope.
Exactly. But I saw like a fake MLB account tweeted, they were like, breaking, the Astros have signed Ronel Blanco to an 8-year, $800 million extension. President Jim Crane says he has done everything they've asked him to do. I'm just like, damn, man. But I just thought it was funny that like the Astros got caught cheating again. You know what I mean? Like, even though this one was kind of a little bit of a weird thing, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Yes. Yeah, that's real good.
And the Astros suck this year too.
Was that expected? It wasn't expected. There's no way.
No, it wasn't expected for it to be this bad. They had some injuries going into the year. Justin Verlander's just now making his way back, but no, it's been a lot worse. But they have won 5 straight now, so maybe they're on the way back. But I did not expect to be joining you in the disgraced MLB team club this year.
I was gonna say at least they're not the Cardinals. It could always be worse. That franchise is an absolute joke, and it's in shambles. And they need a new manager, and they need a new general manager. And until that happens, they're just gonna suck. It's just the way it is. They've ruined Jordan Walker. It's really upsetting. But whatever. Let's get to the chat real quick and then get out of here. A lot of the stuff we've already talked about, but I already see some that
I forgot we have a chat.
We would really be idiots and assholes if we didn't pull it up here. Hey, Nomer says, my diamonds come from the most horrific situations possible. You heard that one before?
That's a great bar right there is where that is.
Shout out Dracula Flow. Those are our literally our first two comments.
Any Dracula Flow line that doesn't have inappropriate words in it, we will put it up.
Yes.
And we'll even put this one up that has a bad word in it.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you, JT, for that one.
Yeah. I hate waking up in Geneva, man. Did it again.
Oh man, that's pretty good. Yeah, some people weighing in on the Scottie Scheffler thing. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He birdied his first hole. I wonder how he's doing for the whole thing. I think he was tied for fifth after the first round yesterday, and then when I checked earlier, he was cooking pretty good. I think he was through 6 holes or so. I don't know how he wound up finishing up his round, but
like I just cannot imagine playing a round of golf on Thursday and playing really well and then like being like, all right, I got to do that again on Friday. And then even if you play really well on Friday, it's like, crap.
Yeah.
Am I really going to 3 days? You know, it's like, that has to just suck.
It has to. He's 4 under through 13 holes, by the way.
4 under through 13, and he's 8 under for the tournament.
Yeah.
He's in 4th place. He's just 1 stroke off of the lead.
I hope he wins the whole damn thing. And he's the number 1 golfer in the world. He's probably favored to, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at any point, I might live bet him a few times.
Yeah, why not? Shout out to our man for hopping in here. Daniel, appreciate you, bud.
Daniel has been texting me and tweeting at me about the Arkansas baseball team a lot this morning. He's really had it with him.
Well, yeah, and speaking of disgraced MLB franchises, we've exchanged some messages about the Angels and the Cardinals. The Cardinals did take 2 out of 3 from them. So between your Astros and his Angels and my Cardinals, it's just it's rough living for Major League Baseball.
His Angels are my Astros path back to respectability because when in doubt, we play in a really bad division. So I think we're going to be all right. So appreciate all those ass whoopings y'all are going to hand us, Daniel. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So S. Ingles wants one of those bombastic hats. What's the deal? Like what?
S. Ingles, hit me up on Twitter because my girl Hillary made this hat, but she's been like dying to get back on the cricket lately and get to work. Hit me up. I think I can make it happen. We'll just have to hash out a few details of what kind of style, if you want the white or if you want whatever. I think I can make this happen.
Love it. H-Fan's right. I mean, talking about Tyson, Jake Paul, it's prison. You're either fighting or freaking. I mean, it's one of the two, right?
That applies to like life in general too.
Yeah, I mean, it can in some situations.
Curtis, as a married man, you know it's usually one or the other.
Yeah. If not, you probably have problems, you know?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times the two overlap. Sometimes. Rare occasions, you will have the best night of your life when your significant other turns a fight into a freak.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are different.
There are terms for that. There are terms for that out there. This is crazy.
No, yeah. I mean, I think he literally is. Like, I don't think that's like a joke. I think he really is a model for Kim Kardashian's clothing company.
They should put and I've seen some of those ads have been popping up on our website now that I think about it. But they should put an H in there. Hims, right?
I like
for the
that.
Dudes. I think they
like
should.
For Hims, like the ED company.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Hims.
The same idea, right?
I like that.
Let's see. Yeah, the rest of it. I think we talked about the rest of it. A few people weighing in on. A lot of people like this Tyson Jake Paul thing, man. They're more excited about that than the real boxers. I
mean,
Fury and.
But look, this could be a message to the rest of like the combat sports world.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, Make big fights. That is
Yes.
the goal. Tell us why we should watch you fight. You being good is simply not enough a lot of times.
Mhm.
Devin Haney, he was 31-0 3 weeks ago. None of us care about Devin Haney at all. We didn't care about him then. We don't care about him now. Put on big fights. That's the name of this game. It's called prize fighting. Fight for a prize. The prize cannot be you're improving on your undefeated record against some guy we've never heard of.
Right. That's exactly right. Good one to get out of here on. We do. JT Hazelwood was still listening. He's in making the comeback. Definitely getting sponsored by Natty State. Natty State by day, Natty State by night, all day. Let's go. If you get in the octagon, we'll make it happen.
It doesn't even have to be an octagon. It can be something. If you get into some type of,
you can do one of those rough and rowdy things or whatever. I don't care.
Some type of enclosure that has fights, we will supply you with some Natty State sports gear for sure. I also told him the other day that I'd spar with him if he really got low in confidence one day.
Mhm.
I was like, I'll spar with you a little bit, just give you a little bit of
There you go.
get a little pep in your step, land some combos.
There you go. Man, what do you got on the weekend agenda outside of baseball? Is that it?
A lot of baseball, but Sunday night or Sunday during the day, I'm going to Strawberry Festival. I'm looking forward to the Strawberry Festival.
You told me about this.
Fayetteville Square. There's going to be an awesome band called the Abby Pierce Band.
Mm-hmm.
Abby Pierce works at JB Hunt, friend of Hillary's, but you saw her perform at JJ's.
Did.
They recently changed their band name. It used to be Abby Pierce and the Sinners. It is now just the Abby Pierce Band because the Sinners, they've been cycling band members and there are no longer any Sinners left. So
okay,
now they're just the Abby Pierce Band, but she's awesome. She sings the anthems at Bomb every now and then, so some people might recognize her there. But Strawberry Festival is going to be fun. It'll be on the Fayetteville Square, like stuff to buy, strawberries, music, food, all that cool stuff.
Get there early or have a plan for parking.
Yeah. Well, thank God we don't live in a space that's right next to the Fayetteville Square anymore because that was quite the hassle.
Exactly.
That one day when we went post scrimmage, that was tough.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's. You got anything else? Or are we out of here?
I think we're out of here, man.
Yeah, I think so
too. It was a productive episode, though.
Yeah, this was fun. A lot of cool stuff to talk about, and it's been fun getting this thing back on track, making it more regular, and we will continue to do that. But for now, we will wish everybody a good weekend. Keep the vibes up, even if the baseball team doesn't score a run this weekend. All will be well. For Andrew Ellis, this has been Curtis Wilkerson, United States Sports, the Six Pack. We will catch you guys next week.